I will never run out of TikToks to watch with you guys, because I already watched these and I like these, and that's how I filter my TikToks based on my likes. You can see it. It's a category that you can access as well anytime. But let's continue. What the Fuss Marathon. We need to get through everything, and there's a lot to explore, a lot to talk about, and a lot to be triggered by. God help us all, man. Especially after discovering that the Tree of Knowledge is about knowledge of making people suffering. Just so you know how it feels like. You get experience. That's kind of weird. They're just things that don't make sense because you wouldn't be able to apply it to yourself. You wouldn't make yourself suffer for experience, right? Because you would mitigate your experience by suffering. It's just like walking blindfolded on purpose to gain more experience. You would get less, not more. But anyways, I mean, you would increase your other senses, but the point of living life is to use all senses properly and focus on other things than not having things or suffering, as I've said many times. No need for that. I did made a video about suffering being gold, and I still mix the definitions because now I'm still indicating that suffering is pretty bad. You shouldn't do that. So maybe I should actually retract for the first time a gold episode, because I feel really bad about the word. Like, I can't turn it around. There's something else. There's some kind of better word to describe useful suffering. Like a challenging experience, a pressured experience, but it's not like a painful or negative, overly negative experience. You actually have to get out of that situation, potentially. So I might actually review one of the golden episodes. Now, I have so much stuff up next that it hurts me as well. Suffering is no longer gold for the first time in forever. Like, I might get pity points for suffering, but it's not like it's gonna enrich my life in any way. But at the same time, you're not supposed to, like, detach yourself from being grounded. That's what suffering does, is, like, makes you grounded by force, almost. Anyways, maybe it's gonna be useful, maybe not. But that could be a perspective for us watching the other videos. I can't really catch up to speed, but we can look into thumbnails that I've done. I've done the oh, President inspired this video type of thumbnail. Then laughing at Elon Musk, but not really, because he just created a very wealthy company and tricked a bunch of people, and Mr. Beast spits a few ideas here and there that people need to at least acknowledge. And then I get offended because I'm worth as much as someone else's dog in America. You know, some people just spend that much, and I spend that much to survive. You know, of course, it's a different kind of organized environment that I'm in, but just to show you guys the possibilities of, like, I get to survive with this amount of money, and you guys just treat your dog with that and complain about housing prices or whatever. Yeah, the things are gonna get worse and worse if this is the position that you're at, because my things are not getting better. My life is not getting better in any way, just technologically. and my mind is, you know, I'm smarter as a person. That doesn't mean that I'm all of a sudden am building a business out of nowhere and establishing something, some kind of passive income. That's not happening. That would be a breakthrough if that would happen. And making a business is actually a go-to position, not having a job or, you know, managing a business, which is different. You you own a business and you do work, and people sort of help you in and out. It's kind of go-to position. You know, people help you, you just pay them for the days of work or whatever. Like, this is supposed to be super simple and easy. The government steps in to just, you know, monitor that everything is going smoothly, but making a business, not supposed to be fucking highest tier brain work that I will never comprehend, including just owning a house is also brain work, apparently. Like, we overcomplicated things so much that it's another bullshit episode waiting to happen. Complexity. I could say high complexity is bullshit. Because that shit is, like, so painful. When people start talking about housing problems and all that shit, like, eventually it hurts your brain. Because you can't keep up with the ideas at all. I'm gonna double check this thumbnail. Yeah, this sucks. This looks like garbage. Because it doesn't have the outlines. God damn it. Well, I try to send a message that it's very hot episode. Anyways. There's 10 more new TikToks. So, while I'm making these videos, I still have to keep up with myself relaxing, eating food, and watching TikTok. Alright? If I'm not relaxing, then I'm just on my computer making videos.
What do you do when you manage a team of, like, Gen Z people who don't care to go above and beyond?
You give them a percentage of the company. Do they own a percentage of the company? No. Then why do you expect them to go above and beyond expectations? Only people who own a percentage of the company should be doing that. This is something I have actually told one of my freelance editors who doesn't own a percentage of the company when I said, hey, don't kill yourself doing this job. We can get it whenever we get it. They said, no. This is an investment in... So I stopped her right there. I said, you're not investing in shit. You don't own a piece of my show. Just do the job I'm paying you for on the timeline that we're paying you for it to be done, and don't murder.
Yeah, enjoy the progress of helping someone, and if you can't, I mean, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But if you own a piece of company now it's different. Now you can actually grow alongside with the company, and you can properly care, which is, yeah, fascinating stuff that I didn't consider. But now businesses became that much more complicated.
I dated somebody who, if I asked her, how are you? Great, was the only answer she ever gave me.
That's all I've ever said to people.
And
for the first time, Simon Sinek is complaining, bro. I have dated someone and I only got great. Look for how long he complains about it.
And it actually made it very difficult for me to get close to her because I knew that she was having bad days. I could tell when she was frustrated, and so when somebody puts on that brave face and always wants to be great for their partner, it's the most selfish thing you can do because you're denying them.
It's so funny, like, he's always trying to fucking explain things as principles, but this is one of those times where no, it's too sentimental, it's too heartless to do that you actually interacted with a girl and you couldn't break through the great thing. Like, this is your problem now. Because you should have fucking flipped the table and did something that you're proud of right now. Even if it makes you break up or whatever. You should have done something. to try and break through that, yeah, stupid answer that you don't like. You know? But most importantly, it might be your fault because you're asking stupid questions and you get stupid answers. Oh, wow. What did you expect? I stopped asking stupid questions. I stopped saying, hi, how are you? That's the dumbest fucking thing. It pisses me off when I receive it. It's just the most annoying thing I can receive from a person. How are you? I don't know. What the fuck is that? That's great is a great answer, bro. And for the first time, Simon Sinek just went off a cliff. And I don't know what the fuck he's talking about for the next half a minute, all right? I have no idea.
That awesome joy of being able to be there for you. Remember, as social animals, we want to take care of the people we love. And how dare you deny them the unbelievable honor of getting to sit in the mud with you. You know, it is a joy that human beings get to experience. And one of the things, if you can, by the way, the biology proves it, that one of the things that releases oxytocin, which is that feeling of love and connection and
Yeah, fuck you, bro. Get oxytocinated, bro. Get out of here. I don't trust you anymore.
Here's how men communicate with each other. Hey man, you want to go out to the restaurant? Yeah, what time? 7:30? Okay, I'll see you there. That's how men communicate with each other. Here's how women communicate with each other. Hey, what are you doing tonight? I don't know, my hair is all fucked up. Well, what do you want to do later? I'm not sure. The conversation goes fucking everywhere.
Okay, let me fix that. Then that's what I wanted to do. He gave us a women matrix. But that's not exactly what's going on. When women talk to each other, it's not... Okay, so... When men talk to each other, is still not a straight line, by the way. So let's do that one. When men talk to each other, it's a fucking battle. And then when the battle is won, then the decision is made. Then it's a straight line to the decision. But usually just a battle. When women talk, they unite immediately. There's no reason to worry about that part, because they have to remain positive. So they have to be there for each other if they're there for each other. And they just bounce around concepts and a bunch of question marks or interests and all that stuff and try to figure out what to do for the day or whatever. That's how it works, and not fucking scribble scrabbles or straight lines. Get the fucking life, bro. Eat ass. Eat more ass.
Okay, we're out here picketing in front of Netflix. The side.
Alright, I can't hear you, my friend. What a leader, am I right? What an actor. How fucking convenient he is to TikTok. Holy shit.
Sidewalks are packed. It is also 93 degrees out. I'm here
Oh, that's why, because of the degrees and stuff.
with two of our captains. What's the name? Margaret. And? Henry. And what are you...
Here's how men communicate with
Okay, we're out here picketing, and what are you guys doing to
Again, I'm sorry there's some glitch in... It's usually my mouse.
help keep picketers cool while we're out here?
Oh, we're spraying them with AMPTP tears.
These are tears from the streamers and studios?
Direct from David Zaslav's yacht.
And they're ice cold. So you guys are both captains. You're out here every day powering our picket lines. What keeps you motivated to keep coming out here every day?
The
Stupidity, probably.
creativity of everybody on the line, including Taylor Orsi, who came up with this joke.
It's genuinely so fun. Join us. It feels like Burning Man with less body odor. Come on out.
What the fuck? What's so fun about just running around and being upset about something? Doesn't sound like fun to me. It just sounds like mental illness, to be honest. Is it over yet? Because it has been like 4 weeks since this post. I think it's over. Did they win something? Did something happen? I haven't heard anything, by the way. We can check Adam Conover if he uploaded anything. This was just a bafflingly pathetic attempt to get something. Flight attendants. Fucking flight attendants. Oh no. When did that happen, alright? NPC streaming.
Hey, we're on the picket line with Netflix. It's a really exciting day because the flight attendants have joined us on the picket line. I'm here with Sarah Nelson, the president of the AFA. Why did you come out today?
We came out today because your fight is our fight. Listen, this is about corporate greed.
Your fight is our flight, am I right? You forgot the L. Ah, I see now. I see, you don't like L's. Well, you get one anyways, at some point.
This is about inequality in this country. This is about the fact that capitalism is completely unchecked right now. And the only countervailing force to capitalism that has ever worked is
Yeah, instead of capitalism, let's fucking beg people for money, am I right? Instead of providing them something. Just organize labor. Yes, right now. You can... This is not labor. I don't see you laboring right now. You just... But people are so fucking stupid like that. It's... They think they're doing something powerful, and they're not. They have to be even more organized, even more smarter than in the past. Every single time you have to upgrade your behavior. And this is sort of like visible to entire worlds, but to me it's just pathetic. Like, I don't need you guys. I don't need you guys to work. This is pathetic as it is going to be entertaining for a certain amount of time, and there's already plenty of content for me to watch. Just infinite amount of content. There's actors everywhere. You fucking walk down the street and you probably meet 3 actors that you've never seen before, but there are actors. You just never really met them, but they're doing TikToks or whatever. Every time you go outside, you meet 3 actors. Let's go, baby. So what's that about? Who's complaining? Only you guys complaining because you're fucking old and stuff.
organized labor. So your fight right here, taking on these studios, is showing all of corporate America that we're going to stand together and fight them because it is...
You know, studios, just like television, they just got bored of, like, being the ones who get kicked in the balls. So at some point, they just had to bail in the most inconvenient way possible so that we get to see all these stupid people on the streets. I mean, it's fascinating to me.
It has been going the wrong direction. As I said, they've been trying to tell us for the last 50 years we should feel lucky to have a job. But we're going to tell them together they should feel lucky to have our work.
Hell yeah, you are incredible. We're so grateful to have your solidarity out here. I'm so grateful to flight attendants every time I fly. You're some of the most amazing workers and unionists in the country.
You're the best. Let's go. So there's a bunch of crap like that that I just don't follow very well. Especially when you mess up your fucking audio. Just give up, Adam Conover. You have no idea what the fuck you're doing anymore. See, the funny thing is about people in general and things you have to understand about life. Sometimes you're up, and sometimes you're down. And when you're down, projecting happiness is not productive, unfortunately. Oh, look, I'm down. I'm homeless. I'm so happy, though. No, bro. No. Don't project happiness. Just say I'm, like, contempt, but I need help, alright? I feel fine, but, like, please help me. And that's pretty good. But being homeless and fucking laughing your ass off about it, and it's like, oh, look how many friends I have. I don't know, bro. You gotta fucking chill on that one. And the thing is, anyone can be down, even for a period of time, and you just can't project happiness. You have to project sanity, that you understand why you're down, and that you gotta get back up again. I was down for my entire life, in a way, because now I want to be actually very, very high up. Alright, so I project that I'm down because I want to be really big person. And I need everyone's help, if I deserve it, but at least I want to communicate, you know, to just see what we can do, see what I can squeeze out of my environment, in a way. But it is weird, you know, when I try to talk to my mom, she doesn't hear me. And it always makes me feel like, you know, she's projecting that I'm supposed to communicate in more ways than just words. With words, it's a direct communication. There's indirect communication of looking a certain way and doing something specific, right? And indirect communication is also just as important. So it pisses me off because I don't know what that is, though. I'm not a fucking woman. Usually those people know how to do that. So if I had a girlfriend, I would ask that. Like, how do you do indirect communication? How can I do that? Because I don't even dress myself. I don't have time, energy, or money for dressing up myself, for showing my face with a webcam or whatever. I don't have time for that indirect communication, and my content definitely suffers from that. But here you go. I have a TikTok marathon that sort of allows you to see something at least on the screen for context of what I'm talking about. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, I will definitely think about that a little bit more. This is just a cool little thing here. Like, it's cool when a blender is also just a cup, in a way. Or just a way to drink directly from that. I'm content with that. I mean, I would like to blend a lot of drinks. It's really fun stuff. So we're getting into the right direction, I would say. I don't think this is a perfect design, but yeah, if there's something that I could just sit next to my computer and have a nice drink and just keep blending the same shit until it gets really bad and then I have to clean it. Fuck yeah, let's go. Because I'm not gonna clean that shit, alright? It's just gonna have all the residue. I don't care. Bacteria my ass. Convenience is way more important to me, unfortunately. But yeah, this sounds really cool and useful to me. When he was putting those solid things, they're kind of floaty. I'm not sure if you don't get to see that or there's like an actual platform for solid objects. Making a pink drink like this, it's seemingly quite expensive. You need a dragon fruit, and I actually uploaded on TikTok that I also have a pink drink. I mean, there's so many things that are red already, so getting a pink drink is not that crazy. But you know, dragon fruit makes this very vibrant pink. You know, just for the viewers' amusement. It's nothing too crazy, I don't think. Because where the fuck are you gonna get dragon fruits? So ridiculous.
Cool.
Fascinating, alright?
A couple of years ago, I went through a pretty brutal breakup. And to keep myself distracted, I decided to set myself a ridiculous art challenge. To create the closest thing to a real-life time machine, a virtual reality invention that will let me go back in time and experience moments from my past. You see, All I had to do was to spend an entire year wearing 3D cameras on my face, record my life in first person for 365 days, transfer that into a series of hard drives, and then build a virtual reality simulation that will let me experience those memories in 3D. That's all I had to do. The final result was so much cooler than I could have ever imagined. So this is how it works. You put on a VR headset, you select the date and time you'd like to go back to, you pull a lever, and then, bam, I got to see exactly what I saw at that given point in time. And now I could go back in time and re-experience the past trip, try a meal again for the first time, and even hang out with a friend who's no longer with us. And the longer I spent, with this time machine, the more I realized that I had accidentally built something that was much more meaningful than I initially imagined. Because this wasn't just an entirely new way for you to experience your memories. This was an entirely new way for you to understand yourself. As I used the time machine, I started to become hyper-aware of how much of our lives we forget over the years, and how important it is for us to enjoy the moments we have before our minds inevitably forget them.
Yeah, this is why you have to build an environment that sort of accumulates dust, accumulates memories. That's also something you just have to wake up with. For me, again, it's going to be this button thing, which I will share if anyone needs, a similar concept for themselves. This is going to be upgraded many, many times where there's more space. It's easier to save buttons and summon them and all that shit. Easier to organize information. So, yeah, this is going to be my environment because I'm an internet person and I need one of those. My room has nothing to do with my life sometimes. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not supposed to be hyper introverted and just pretend that virtual space is all that there is. But yeah, this is what it makes me think about when it comes to saving memories. You cannot possibly do a time machine yourself, but you do have to appreciate memories a little bit more, because it's very helpful to not just lose yourself every single time you wake up. You lose a huge chunk of your memories. Even taking a step forward is just inevitably you're going to lose something by doing so. And I sit in a room for a very long time and I still lose things. As introverted as I am, as I'm trying to keep everything together, it's very much impossible task, but quite necessary to master. So, well, just another skill to master, I'm not gonna lie. Why you should do that, again, the moment you feel good about yourself, you want to capture it and double check for how long that's gonna hold. It's gonna hold in your subconscious, but you want to remind yourself of the achievements you have made and the history that you have made. Another thing that, will keep my memories together is anything that I've done on YouTube. This is a lot that I've done in 1 year. You can see the insane amount of thumbnails flooded compared to, 2022 thumbnails, which are shittier and less thoughtful, and there's just less content. You can see this, right? So see how it shrinks slightly, but the year is not over yet. So this year I definitely did that much more work already. All right. Oh, that's why Ariana uploaded a video. I figured it out, guys. Oh my god, Mr. Beast. Okay, I thought it was Mr. Beast upload. I almost flipped the table on that one. The reason why Ariana uploaded a video is very simple. Because we support Sniper Wolf, as you might remember. And so that's what happens. The credit just goes away randomly, and you will never get it back. And then you will start appreciating that, well, I credited some people by accident for some fucking reason. Oh, oops. But who fucking cares? There's a anomaly in Eurovision point collection. So there's 20 countries that collect most points, right? It seems normal at first, but there's a huge gap, and you know where that gap is. It's quite an anomaly of a gap. Like, I cannot explain what the fuck is going on, so I will have to make an episode for that as well. Russia is number 8, by the way. Eat ass, Russia. You will disappear now. Anytime. But Ukraine is actually higher on the list. There's Norway. We're not on the list. Lithuania is not. We haven't even been around Eurovision for that long to be on this list. Because we became independent, like, at late 1900s. There's Italy and brace yourselves, because plus 2000, well, first of all, here you go, UK, 40, 45, 43, 90, 39. Here's Italy, compared with the number 1 Sweden, 6,400 versus 4,800. Basically, 1,500 difference. It's phenomenal and weird at the same time. I can't explain it. All right? So we're going to have to make Italy and maybe UK versus Sweden, because fuck you. All right? Fuck you, Sweden. We attack. We destroy. I wish it wasn't too deep, because it just checks all the points throughout the entire history. But, you know, we have to still do that. UK versus Sweden versus Italy. Wow. Crazy. And France is another tourist destination. So basically you can feel that there's some kind of tourism going on. There's some favoritism out of that one. Yeah, France. I mean, we checked France, and recently France is absolute ass. It's absolute garbage. But hey, you know, go away. That's all I have to say to France. Just go away. We don't like you anymore.
Lawyer's take.
This is very important self-defense information, and I'm kind of collecting some self-defense tricks slowly but surely. Like, this is going to be very important to you guys.
Hey, come on! Back away! Huh?
When stopping a crime, you can only use the force proportional to the threat faced. You may think that running this criminal over is just too much, but think about it. This guy is throwing boulders that could really hurt someone inside the house. So faced with the alternatives of taking him on with your fist or running him over, I think the golf cart guy made the legal choice.
Lawyer's take.
It's really hard to swallow that information, but I understand. Yeah. And we can be a little bit more creative with self-defense now, it feels like.
Okay, everyone's made a bunch of arguments about why billionaires can't be good people, but I'm going to show you why I think billionaires can't be good people using math. According to the Department of Urban Housing and Development, it would take $20 billion to end homelessness in the United States forever. Forever. There are billionaires in the United States with more than $20 billion. Every day, they have to wake up and choose not to end homelessness forever. Now, usually when I say this, someone ends up saying, well, why would they have to give up so much of their wealth? And I hear you. There are approximately 770 billionaires in the United States. If we just split up that cost among them, and only them, then each one of them would have to spend $25 million.
Basically, it's a wonderful problem of, like, how the fuck are these billionaires have so much wealth, but they're unable to actually solve actual problems? how the fuck do you accumulate that much wealth? Like, if we have problems, we're not supposed to have billionaires. The moment we get rid of the obvious problems of homelessness and people in desperate needs for help and poverty and all that shit, once we get rid of that and only have drunken idiots around who just waste themselves, we can't help those people. But like, this is pathetic, right? Like, by billionaires who don't have to care, honestly. They just fly off into space and never return to society just to screw us over, at least. Because they have so much money and they want stuff from us. But the best way to solve this is just to, like, say no to the billionaires who want to just give us money for whatever. You know, if we detect a billionaire, we say, no money can actually buy you things around here. You'll have to ask someone else. We basically have to say the Taylor Swift thing, talk to my friends to talk to me, you know, like, fuck that shit.
Hi everyone, I'm Iluma. I dance for everyone.
Finally, Elon Musk decided to do something useful for society.
I love you. I love you. I love you. Ooh, 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 ooh.
He doesn't lick the fists like the girls do, but I understand. Men a little bit boring and stuff.
I have COVID.
And he has COVID. So we have successfully done the new TikToks. But we still have a whole fucking marathon to go through. Long, and tirelessly going through all this crap. So we stopped at this guy who, you know, feeds his dog $200 bills, basically, every month. Thank you for that. Okay. Interestingly enough, if you do the right things in life, you will feel elevated, you will feel more positivity, obviously. It's just how it works. And you'll be able to transition from one thing to a better thing. It feels like I actually fell out of the shadow level. But the funny thing is, I do believe that you can just transition from anywhere to anything. And in early stages of your life, you can't really control who you're gonna be as you're growing up. But you can definitely decide if you want to stay there. So, for me personally, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna skip these 2 stages. I'm not gonna float around and observe the roller coaster rides up close, and I'm not gonna be in the roller coaster ride. I will literally skip to building it myself, because I feel like I have plenty of skills to do that. I feel like I was never bored in my life, and that's one thing that I just had to battle and complete properly. There's a lot of floaty things, like what game to play, how to build games, and all that shit. So people have downgraded me because they can't understand what I'm doing. My life is too complicated. Understandably so, like, you won't be able to watch all my videos. It's impossible. But you can understand that this is a very complicated ride that has been accumulated. And you can always tune into the latest stages of it, whatever the latest video is, and try to comprehend at least the complexity of it. So it's really cool. I feel, again, I'm just going to skip all the way to highest level. But it is pretty overwhelming because no one expects that. No one knows what's going to happen next. No one knows how everything is going to rearrange itself. But you can definitely feel it. You can definitely feel whether you're going up or down based on your behavior, and what dreams you have, and how you interact with people. Are you winning your arguments? All that stuff. Right now, the Joker has played the ultimate card. You know, let's meet up. It's the ultimate card. You can start with that card in your opening hand or whatever. It doesn't matter. But it is like the most ultimate card, because now we're faced with reality. And being invited into reality means that now they're actually trying to invite me to the higher stage of life. This is why it feels so spiky to experience of like, well, I'm stuck in a room. Going outside into reality and starting to talk to people is a completely different experience than what I normally have. And it's quite painful right now. It's actually quite painful and inaccessible almost. And I don't think it's even worth it for me anymore. This is another reason to just skip certain stages, because like people genuinely have blocked me from accessing them, and only offer that as like a scapegoat of like, oh, I'll just offer you this one little thing and we just, you know, we block you off again. This is manipulation, basically. I still have to take the offer in a way and beat the shit out of them. But only if I feel like it. How will they convince me? I don't know, bro. I'm also realizing that there is a special charge when I wake up every day. And if I'm a low-level person, like, I'm not gonna have that much social energy to be able to socialize with people. I'm just not gonna have that much energy to waste. And if people are negative to me, I'll just gonna, you know, remain in that position. Now, whether people are negative to me for a good reason or for a bad reason, we'll never know. Until the day of the judgment, I'm trying to understand these reasons. I understand, like, I'm not a fucking perfect person, but now I'm just, like, feeling left out completely in the stupidest ways. And again, I'm shutting down slowly all these entry points of ways to manipulate me or pull me out into the open. Because I can socialize less and less if all I get, like, is negativity and stress, and nothing really positive comes out of it. Like, you have to be able to actually make things positive in general for them to grow. That's the real entropy, my friends. Alright, let's finish this video. It's still ridiculously deep and complicated.
This extremely average home in Toronto was just listed for $10 million, which got me thinking, what else could someone spend that money on? This castle in Italy was listed for $8.7 million and has 22 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, and
Cool video idea, BlogTO. I don't know how you guys come up with this stuff. Just so you know, I am available for freelance work. But really, people tag me in videos like this all the time, and they seem to think that I should be doing something about it or calling these people out, and I generally don't, and I thought I'd take this one as an opportunity to explain why. The first thing is, I don't own the idea of this versus that. As long as people aren't directly plagiarizing my work, they can pretty much write whatever they want. The second and more important thing is that the concept is a tiny fraction of what makes the videos. If you've ever done any writing or really any kind of creative work, you know there's a huge difference between having a good idea and producing a good finished work. And that's the thing, they can use the concept, but they can't be me. They can't do what I do with it. Ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. This guy was actually one of the first people to do it when my account was only a few days old. At that point I only had a few videos that were just starting to trend, and I had about 1,000 followers and he had 25,000. And did I worry about it? No, because his video was boring and only got a few thousand views. I just kept doing what I was doing and eventually grew past him. And BlogTO has what, 500,000?
This is something just most creators need to, you know, understand that kind of attitude. I can totally agree with that. This paranoia is just pointless. It's pointless. You just focus on doing a good job and that's it. And no one can keep up, even if they tried. If your job is actually good and productive, just like no one can keep up with Mr. Beast until he opens his eyes, you know? Just need to do that a little bit.
Who cares? I can get there. Most of the people doing this seem to be making low-effort content that they're hoping to go viral, whereas I make high-effort content that I like, and I don't really care how many people watch it or not. My favorite videos that I've made and the most viewed videos that I've made are pretty much two separate categories to me. So to the people who've been tagging me, thanks. I do appreciate you, and I watch all the videos that I get tagged in, but really it doesn't bother me. I'm not worried about BlogTO.
Fancy schmancy.
1970, the average home was $15,000. It is now $436,000. It has gone up 29 times. For your buck and more children. You got to expand your family, own a house. Things are so drastically different. The birth rate is plummeting because people can't afford it. So we need to make a change so that we can turn this around. 1970, the average...
Just buy some Indian children, they sell very cheap. Is that so fucking difficult? Again, when we make children, we are privileged enough to think that our children are gonna grow up the same way we did. You know, we're privileged. Maybe they have to grow up a little bit poorer without laptops in their fucking lap at age of 14 or whatever. Without computers in their brain. Without tablets at age of 8 or some bullshit like that. Like, you gotta think critically, man. The children live pretty good lives regardless. And we just allow them to live even better lives by not having too many of them. Because we can't afford them? I don't know, man. Well, we don't have the time for it, potentially. But you have to... I feel like you just gotta double check your spending and double check your opportunities. Because with the internet, there's more opportunities of how to actually make your own shit happen. Like, someone has to be building houses at this point. It's like the most straightforward solution. Just build houses. Build housing that doesn't look like a fucking house. Because house takes up a lot of land. Alright, and takes up a lot of infrastructure in general. And it's not efficient at all. But apartment buildings, like, if you build those efficiently, not next to the city, because that's fucking pollution, bro. Brain pollution, at least. Like, you gotta come up with something. And when I've seen, like, tiny houses, sort of affordable, but, like, they're tiny houses, like, it makes no sense. Just make a fucking apartment at that point. No one needs, you know, the garden, all that grassy shit. It's kind of useless. If you want a garden, it has to be a separate fucking unit of some kind. Or just a workplace in general. So, I think the American dream has to die simply because it's fucking stupid.
Home was $15,000.
The best part of growing up is realizing how much smarter you are than pretty much everyone. Like, when I was growing up, I used to be so afraid of the world because I thought that everyone was competing with me for jobs and business opportunities and partners and all that stuff were better than smarter than me and everything. You realize very early on in your adulthood that everyone is like dumb. It's the best thing in the world because it takes all the pressure off. The only people who are beating you are just trying harder. And dumb people tend to try harder because they don't know when to stop. If there's anything you're not doing right now because you're afraid of competition, just remember this. Literally everyone is dumb, and everyone who's not dumb doesn't try hard. So your competition isn't 8 billion people, it's actually like a few thousand people. My first piece of evidence for this was when I started doing copywriting, and I thought that everyone was doing it, and that I had no shot. And I just ignored all of that, and I started making money my first month. And then I started networking with some of the other people who were like trying copywriting, and they were all awful. Everybody I was up against, just stupid. 99.9% of
Yeah, I mean, it is the sentiment that I see here, rather. Everyone is NPC but me. Which offends a lot of people. But reality hits hard, man. It hits hard. It's just like, to present that you're somehow above everyone else is very difficult. Because just money doesn't actually cut it. Like, funny enough, money doesn't cut it. And people have in their minds still a lot of switches that they have to deal with. So of course, if you force yourself to work very hard and actually obtain money, you're gonna get there. It's just you're gonna lose something in return at the same time. And it's very difficult to not be a loser. you know. But no, I don't think this is the sentiment. It's just being stupid doesn't make you an NPC. Being stupid at something specific, right? Because that's what the conversation is about. It's like people don't have this skill, basically, as much as I do. And yeah, I mean, if you acquire a skill, most likely people around you just don't have it. Just funny enough, people around you don't have it. Like your heart actually picks up on the idea that you have to have a skill that nobody around you has anyways. But this guy decided to call out them as stupid, and I don't know. You do you. In fact, some people want to be stupid and want you to take all the responsibilities so you do a good job and they don't have to anymore. You know, that's the fun part sometimes. Like, the world is fucking twisted like that.
1933 is when they started monetizing us and pledging us as collateral for the debt. Now, to register, the word register means to abandon. And when you register a car or a birth or a house, you're giving it to the government. You're giving your legal title to the government, and you only retain equitable title, which means that you have the use of that property. The government allows you to use it, thinking that you own it. Clear evidence of this is anyone who owns a house, look at their mortgage, and you're referred to as the tenant. Not the owner, the tenant. So if you think you own your house, you're mistaken. Same with your car. The reason why they can impound your car is because you registered it, and under maritime admiralty salvage laws, they come along and they adopt it. In the case of the birth registry, they adopt the abandoned child. 1933 is...
It's hard to comment because I started tripping about, like, how government can just take away your home in a way. Giving government, or just government crawling with control like this is pathetic, right? It's absolutely pathetic. Like, you have to actually pay mortgage, and to me that word is just fucking absolute cancer of society in general. Mortgage, tenants, like what the fuck is that? Why are we paying taxes on top of already, like, taxed worlds that we live in? Like, how much income is necessary to pay taxes with? Yeah, you want to cover certain governmental positions, some things that government is doing, but we have to always double check if government is not gaining too much money, too much power over us. We always have to have the anti-government government, basically. You know, something that audits the government and make sure that it doesn't get out of control with power and all that crap. Just like you have a little bush and you turn it into a rectangle. Just cut the corners a little bit so it doesn't fucking grow out of control. You have decided what shape it's supposed to be, and it gotta fucking stay in that shape. Gotta do that one thing properly, you know. And if we just allow grass to grow infinitely high and create forest in our backyard, I mean, a jungle, basically. Like, it's not gonna be a habitable place to go anymore. You're gonna be attacked by a snake, bro, when you go there. So yeah, government always needs a little bit of nail cutting at very least. We gotta cut corners where they don't belong. We have to take responsibilities from the government, and not just surrender that shit to them or register, so to speak. Which is weird. Like,
the best part,
government can twist definitions and make us forget about things, and they will take all the things that we forget. Like, this is the stuff that's pretty dangerous, basically. All the responsibilities you forget, the government will step in and do those. And imagine what happens if you forget to think. They will start controlling your mind. Unfortunately, just straight up. And this is why we have a movie Matrix where, you know, a bunch of people basically work for the government, and they can turn off your mind and turn on the government mind, and then attack Neo with those, you know, NPC powers. And they're seemingly just expendable and infinite. But I think, you know, if we truly gonna be honest, Matrix is not a realistic movie. It's more of a like confusing mess. If we tried to recreate Matrix, it would be quite spectacular movie, absolutely. And I would want to see it because we're sort of living in it. Except the government is not like finding Neos everywhere that they want to attack. But it is what it is. Like, if you offend people, they might switch on the government, you know, brain, where you have to be banned, you have to be, police has to knock on your door, you have to be basically be reported in every single way. You know, that's the government brain working, of like, you're the bad guy to the government, and I serve the government. If you do that, like, this is Agent Smith behavior, absolutely. Like, do you really want to be that kind of bad guy? Because you're just going to be expendable trash for the government to use you as a tool to attack, you know, really powerful people who might not even be mortal at this point. You know, not even mortal. So you're just going to expend yourself for that purpose? Like, be careful. Matrix is a thing. Matrix is definitely a story you can dig deep into.
Back in 2012, Derek from Veritasium posed to the world a very interesting problem. A cursory examination of physics seems to tell us that trees should never be able to exceed 10.3 meters in height. The reason for this is that 10.3 meters is the highest that you can suck water up through a tube. If you take a tube and you create a vacuum at the top, no matter how thin the tube is or how perfect the vacuum, once the water reaches 10.3 meters, the low pressure causes it to spontaneously boil so it can no longer be transported any farther. So, how do trees regularly exceed 100 meters in height? There were several theories that were presented by the people that Derek asked. Most assumed that the xylem tubes through which the water is transported were not...
I'm gonna skip to what actually worked, because you wouldn't understand anyways, neither would I.
As low as negative 15 atmospheres. It survives these incredible pressures by having only the very smallest of openings, some 2.5 nanometers wide. Because the water inside the tree has no gaseous nucleation sites, it doesn't boil, in the same way supercooled water doesn't freeze until you give it a reason to. On average, 94% of the water that a tree takes in just evaporates. 1% is used for photosynthesis, 5% is used for growing the tree, the other 94% is there just to bring up the 6% that it uses.
See, we have to bring up that 1% of billionaires. That's how it works.
If you've ever traveled to Japan more than once, have you ever noticed that prices of goods have remained pretty much the same every time you go? Just to give you an idea, in 2010, if you buy a Big Mac in Japan, you would have paid 320 yen or 3.01 Sing dollars. 10 years later, in 2020, a Big Mac would cost you 390 yen or 3.66 Sing dollars. Tax, in 2010, a Big Mac in Singapore would cost you $4.23. But that price went up to $5.90 in 2020. So why do prices in Japan not change that much? That's because Japan has been in deflation for most of the last 30 years. Deflation is a situation when prices of goods and services in the country generally decline. Why does this happen in Japan? Well, generally,
it is pretty scary that a wind nation is actually deflating while everyone else is inflating. That is a big question mark, isn't it? Let me speculate. Why is that? Well, usually a wind nation is gonna deflate when the water nation is absolute garbage and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, basically. So, and water nation is the fucking USA. So, clearly, Americans have no idea what the fuck is going on, and now that the world is open for a lot of possibilities, everyone is just crapping on each other and not really understanding how privileged they really are compared to the rest of the world. They just don't understand that. Just open your eyes, look at how the rest of the world lives, and what people are talking about outside of US. Maybe shut the fuck up a little bit, and then you're gonna get into a deflation period, just like, you know, Japan. At least learn from the fucking wind nation. Just copycat that if you can fucking do that. It's very difficult because it's a fucking wind nation. They're not gonna talk to you in a proper language that you would be able to understand. They're not gonna talk to you in English. They will talk to you in anime and stupid commercials that you can't understand. All right? So if you truly want to program yourself, I have a feeling that Japan can just, you know, turn your brain into a proper direction. Any Japan culture, and potentially why, you know, PewDiePie just ran away to Japan to figure the secrets of the universe. How the fuck to turn Americans into proper human beings. Maybe he just ran away for that purpose, and holy shit, that's the truth, and not just, you know, some weird feelings that Marcia had. I mean, holy shit. PewDiePie is still alive, and not even retired. He's just posing as retired, but actually still projecting high levels of influence. Probably not, because that's impossible once you actually declare your retirement. So he basically conceded a little bit too early. Hopefully that doesn't destroy his career, because again, his career is not over. Retirement is just a fluke. It's probably a big mistake to just declare your retirement. He has to like take that back. Whenever you feel like you just post a video, like what the fuck is the big deal about it? I don't care that you're the biggest fucking YouTuber.
Consumer demand in Japan isn't very high. Japanese people...
But the problem is, PewDiePie already posted plenty of things. You have to like try to keep up and dig a little bit deeper, especially with this context. Maybe with this context, you can actually unlock and challenge PewDiePie of like his retirement and all that shit. You need a context of like, how the fuck Japanese people figure it out and we cannot figure it out? Why are they deflating? A bunch of assholes. You must understand also, like, the world is not super interconnected. People can be somewhat, or nations can be quite independent from each other. They have their own currencies, they have their own lifestyles. So just because everything is inflating doesn't mean that everywhere is inflating, you know?
People are just savers. They don't spend money. And business investment in Japan isn't as aggressive either. Japan has an aging population and declining birth rate, which means that there are fewer and fewer young people working, spending, and contributing to the economy. You might say, well, isn't declining prices a good thing? Well, a deflationary environment would also mean that wages remain stagnant, so you don't get pay raises when you've been working so hard. Even with wages stagnating and an aging population, arguably Japan remains prosperous, safe, and quite comfortable. But as we live in a world that cares about economic growth, that's not enough. In order to increase inflation and economic activity, Japan used to borrow...
Again, Wind Nation cannot grow when the Water Nation is full of fucking crap. Wind Nation just doesn't get good ideas anymore, doesn't get positivity anymore, doesn't get the vibes that it requires to grow, and we don't have to bitch about it. It's just how it is once you put everything together and transcend stupid people. But I can't say stupid, because I don't want to offend people. See, I'm in a pickle. I want to end this video faster. Run!
Buy its own bonds, flooding the market with cash. This is called quantitative easing, but it...
See, it's not stupidity, it's just like obsessiveness in a way to understand everything about one thing. But then you forget the bigger picture, so I'm just doing a different job. It's nothing that crazy. Like, I wouldn't be able to do this without other people's contribution, obviously. Like, it's impossible to be able to wrap your head around everything all at once.
It wasn't very effective, and after a while Japan hit the limit of buying up its own bond. Then the Bank of Japan moved to what is called a yield curve control, which is kind of hard to explain, but basically they buy as many bonds as needed to keep bond yields within a specific range that they've set. Interest rates in Japan are in the negative, rates are at negative 0.1%, meaning to say that you pay the bank if you deposit your savings with them. This is done to stimulate spending, because why put your money in the bank when you're getting nothing for it? Might as well spend it. Stick around for part 2, where I'll be talking about the change that is happening in Japan now.
Okay, I guess. So the only change that's happening to this video is bye. See you guys next time. And holy shit, how long will this go on? Whatever.